Imagine an apocalyptic scenario where everything you know and love has been destroyed. With no other choice but to flee to humanity's last standing city, what would life look like for you? Would you try to adapt to this new society, or would you seek vengeance for your lost life and everything you once loved? Zenless Zone Zero's story is set in a post-apocalyptic metropolitan city, and this game is responsible for the If you constantly use the skip story button in order to get more pulls for Bernice as fast as possible, I don't blame you. Plus, you not reading the lore gives me a job. But if you needed a recap video because you took for granted how good the story actually was, then this video is for you. This video will be a summary of Zenless Zone Zero's main story so far, and will contain everything up to the ending of the version 1.4 story. Today's video is also sponsored by Zenless Zone Zero, and we have a unique code for you to redeem 60 polychromes and 6,666 Denny. I'm your leafy lore keeper Minsleif, and I read the Zenless Zone Zero lore so that you don't have to. Contemporary civilization was destroyed by the Hollows, supernatural disasters that appeared out of nowhere. These Hollows appear as abnormal spherical dimensions that swallow everything they touch. Humanity's last bastion of survival lies in the city of New Eridu, which managed to thrive by acquiring the technology to be able to extract resources out of the Hollows. New Eridu's government is the city administration, which consists of subdivisions including Public Security, Defense Force, and the Hollow Investigative Association. Within the Hollows, the internal space-time environment is distorted, and dangerous mutant creatures known as the Ethereal make exploration extremely hazardous. People who get lost in the Hollows face two dire threats: attacks from these monsters and the risk of corruption that transforms humans into Ethereals themselves. This danger is precisely why the city administration restricts Hollow exploration to members of the Hollow Investigative Association, which manages official rescue missions and ethereal hunts. However, the administration's monopoly over the Hollows has created rising tensions between enterprises, gangs, conspirators, and fanatics. Many citizens have loved ones trapped in the Hollows, but with an overwhelming number of requests and the administration's strict guidelines, getting official approval for rescue missions is nearly impossible. Meet Belle and Wise, our protagonist siblings. By day, they run a video rental store called Random Play. By night, they work as illegal proxies. These proxies guide people through the Hollows, taking on jobs that are too risky or questionable for the administration to handle. They stay connected through the Internaut, an online platform where they share advice and post commissions. Belle and Wise aren't just any proxy. They're known as Phaethon, the most famous one of all. The Hollow's distorted space-time environment makes outside communication nearly impossible. However, using a unique device called the Hollow Deep Dive or HDD system, Belle and Wise can remotely control their specially modified Bangbu Eos from safety. This remarkable system, built with ancient technology discovered in the Hollows, belongs to the Helios Institute. The Helios Institute, an academy founded by Professor Arki in Old Eridu, specialized in Hollow education and research. Belle and Wise studied there under Carol Arna, who invented both the HDD system and Eos. When Hollow Zero, the world's largest Hollow, destroyed Old Eridu and the Helios Institute, it claimed many lives, including Carol's. Though Carol Arna was widely blamed for the catastrophe, Belle and Wise became proxies with a mission: to gather enough research and data to clear their teacher's name. ZZZ introduces an array of factions throughout the story, and the first one we meet are the Cunning Hares, led by Nicole Damara. The story starts with the Cunning Hares stealing a strongbox from the Red Fang Gang. During their escape, Billy and Anby fall into a hollow and are trapped. Belle and Wise operate as Phaethon and assist Nicole in their rescue and the recovery of the strongbox. During the mission, Belle and Wise's system is held hostage by an unknown hacker who blackmails them for the strongbox in exchange for their Phaethon's safety. This strongbox allegedly contains extremely rare technology that allows any individual the ability to enter and exit hollows with little to no limitations. The only other entity to possess such technology is the city administration. Belle and Wise trick the hacker and are able to regain control, but in the process, their Phaethon account was wiped, including any exit maps the Cunning Hares needed to escape the hollow safely. The strongbox contained a data chip, which the siblings download into Eos. The siblings lose consciousness and hear a disembodied voice asking them to accept some ominous terms and agreements. This voice comes from what they downloaded, an AI named Fairy. Fairy can analyze hollow environments at nearly incomparable speeds, able to map out pathways, predict enemy movements, and find rifts or exits in real time. It can also manipulate parts of the environment as long as they are electronic or smart in nature. These remarkable abilities make Fairy extremely useful for allied proxies and agents. Fairy agrees to assist Bell and Wise while pursuing its own mysterious agenda. Bell and Wise's first mission with Fairy involves the Vision Corporation, which recently won a bid to renovate the old Capital Metro with the fastest and cheapest proposal. Vision's plan includes demolishing areas to construct a new metro line. The siblings receive a commission from Neko Miyamata, who urgently requests them to stop Vision Corporation's demolition. Earlier, Nekomata had hired the Cunning Hares to retrieve a family heirloom she lost in the same hollow where the demolition is scheduled to occur. During their investigation, the Cunning Hares uncover Vision Corporation's sinister cost-cutting measures. They plan to proceed with demolition without evacuating survivors from the site. The explosives weren't just meant for clearing construction space, they were intended to eliminate all nearby residents in the process. Bell and Wise successfully stopped the train carrying the explosives, allowing residents to evacuate safely from the site. The incident exposes Vision Corporation's deception and reveals that the corporation's director, Perlman, had been manipulated by his secretary, Sarah. It's revealed that Nekomata was actually a member of the Red Fang gang from whom the Cunning Hares had stolen the strong bucks containing Fairy. She initially commissioned this dangerous mission to get revenge on the Cunning Hares, but after experiencing a change of heart, she ultimately joins them. The renovation rights to the new metro were then awarded to Belobog Industries, led by Kolida. Their construction equipment is fully AI-assisted, enabling unsupervised operation and safe entry into hollows. Recently, however, their equipment began malfunctioning and going rogue, with some units entering dead-end hollow without authorization. Suspecting sabotage from rival companies, Belobog commissions Bell and Wise to retrieve their equipment from dead-end hollow. After retrieving the AI machinery, they discover the machines hadn't gone rogue due to corporate sabotage. They had detected a signal deep within the hollow. The signal came from their master, Kors, Kalida's long-missing father and former president of Belobog Industries. Bell and Wise receive another commission to trace the signal source and confirm if it truly originates from Kalida's father. They track it to a prototype machine Kors had developed during Belobog's early days. When they reach the machine's cockpit, they find concerning bullet holes in Kors's memory unit. During their investigation, an advanced ethereal capable of machine manipulation attacks the group, prompting the city administration to investigate this unusual creature. Bell and Wise briefly collaborate with public safety to protect this unusual ethereal from theft. It's revealed that Secretary Sarah, who had manipulated Vision Corporation's director Perlman, was working for another mysterious organization seeking to acquire this advanced ethereal. The siblings are unable to unlock Kors's memory unit, so Nicole suggests the help of the notorious hacker Rain. However, Nicole has been receiving strange messages from Rain, who is supposedly at the allegedly haunted Ballet Twins building. While the Cunning Hares are engaged in a legal battle supporting Vision Corporation's demolition survivors, Bell and Wise investigate the Ballet Twins building. Though abandoned, the building is being maintained by Victoria Housekeeping Co., who helps the siblings search for Rain. They discover that Rain had been kidnapped by mercenaries who need her hacking skills for a sinister plot: to hijack and crash the airship containing the Cunning Hares, the Vision Corporation director, and the demolition survivors into the Ballet Twins building. Working with Victoria Housekeeping Co., the group manages to land the airship safely, though Director Perlman slips away in the chaos. With Rain's expertise, they finally decode Kors Belobog's memory unit, revealing that the advanced ethereal they found near his prototype machine was known as Sacrifice. Rain recognizes this term from her captor's conversations. The group realizes that a single organization might be responsible for the creation of the advanced ethereal, the manipulation of Vision Corporation, and Kors Belobog's potential death. The very same matters that Victoria Housekeeping Co. has also been investigating, as per the request of their mysterious master. To find Director Perlman, Bell and Wise seek the help of biker gangs in the Outer Ring. As supply couriers to the region, these gangs would have the most detailed information about the area and potentially information on Perlman's whereabouts. This leads them to the Sons of Caledon, a biker gang preparing for the Tour de Inferno, a prestigious but dangerous race through the Hollow. The winner claims the title of Overlord, granting their gang control over logistic routes and the entirety of the Outer Ring's oil oil supply. This control significantly can boost a gang's income. However, with great power comes great responsibility, so overlords must maintain fair practices in order to preserve peace in the region. Caesar King, the leader of the Sons of Caledon, is determined to claim the overlord title for her gang. When Bernice discovers Perlman and his crashed airship, she decides to capture him due to his wanted status with New Eridu Public Security. Billy informs Bell and Wise about Perlman's capture, and the Sons of Caledon offer to share information about him, but only if the siblings meet in person. However, on their way to the Outer Ring, a truck nearly crashes into them, causing Billy and the protagonist to fall into a hollow. This accident was actually orchestrated by Lucius of the Vanquishers, a rival motorcycle gang whose leader Pompey currently holds the Overlord title. While in the hollow, Billy and the protagonist face an ethereal attack before Caesar and Lighter come to their rescue. It turns out Billy used to be a member of the Sons of Caledon. As the Tour de Inferno approaches, Caesar offers a deal. She'll surrender Perlman in exchange for the protagonist's help, knowing their expertise as a proxy would be valuable for hollow exploration. The Tour de Inferno is not only a competition, but a way to control dangerous levels of ether plaguing Cinder Lake, the largest oil reserve within the hollow. Ether, a substance from hollows, is what slowly corrupts unprotected sentient beings and transforms them into ethereals. During the race, bikers use spark stones to destroy ether crystals in Cinder Lake, maintaining the health of the oil reserves. While assisting the Sons of Caledon, the group faces constant sabotage from the Vanquishers. Pompey, the current overlord, grows suspicious of Lucius, the same man who orchestrated the truck incident that nearly killed Billy and the protagonist. Pompey discovers that Lucius has been illegally trading ether with a company in New Eridu. Though ether is dangerous, New Eridu has developed technology to harness it safely as a power source. This makes ether extremely valuable in the less technologically advanced Outer Ring. To ease the rising tension, Lucius offers Pompey a questionable drink. As the Tour de Inferno begins, strange events unfold. At Cinder Lake, it's revealed that Lucius had tampered with Pompey's Sparkstone. Rather than destroying ether crystals, it now accelerates their growth, causing ether levels to surge dangerously. The suspicious drink Lucius had given Pompey earlier weakens his resistance to ether contamination. Tragically, Pompey transforms into an ethereal, leaving the group with no choice but to end his life. With ether contamination reaching dangerous levels at Cinder Lake, Caesar makes the ultimate decision to sacrifice herself by detonating her Sparkstone. However, just when everyone believes she died, a hidden hollow portal beneath the lake teleports her safely back to the surface. In the aftermath, Caesar assumes the role of temporary overlord, commanding both the Sons of Caledon and the Vanquishers. As promised, Caesar hands Perlman over. On their way back to New Eridu, Bell and Wise visit the Chasm, the ruins of Old Eridu which was destroyed by Hollow Zero. There they encounter Miyabi, whose mother was killed in the Hollow Zero disaster. Miyabi has sworn revenge against those responsible for the catastrophe, including the siblings' teacher, Carol Arna. This poses a significant threat to Bell and Wise's mission to clear Carol's name. Perlman finally wakes up and tries to convince the Cunning Hares that a man named Inspector Bringer is one of the masterminds working with his traitorous secretary Sarah. The timing is imperative, as New Eridu is in the midst of election season, with Bringer campaigning for commander of the Janus Quarter. Bringer has long been regarded as a national hero in New Eridu, having saved young Zhu Yuan's life and leading the arrest of those responsible for the Vision Corporation's demolition scheme. With such an untouchable reputation, Perlman's accusations against Bringer are serious, but he claims to possess evidence of communications and financial transactions between Bringer and Sarah. Nicole summons the protagonist to the Outer Ring to avoid New Eridu's heightened election surveillance. She surprisingly invites Section 6, the special operations unit dedicated to responding to hollow disasters. Nicole clearly has impressive connections, considering Hoshimi Miyabi of Section 6 is the youngest and most celebrated Void Hunter, one of the official heroes renowned for suppressing hollows. However, tensions arise between the Cunning Hares and Section 6 over their differing investigation methods, both legal and illegal. Their mutual suspicion eventually erupts into a fight. In the midst of their battle, both groups are suddenly ambushed by unknown mercenaries. The protagonist and Miyabi find themselves trapped inside a hollow and must work together to escape. Meanwhile, the Cunning Hares and Section 6 are forced to set aside their differences to fight off the attackers. Unfortunately, some mercenaries still manage to escape, with Perlman as their captive. The Cunning Hairs and Section 6 momentarily agreed to work together to investigate Bringer and the mysterious organization he might be a part of. Back at New Eridu, Bell and Wise discuss their suspicions about the mercenaries that ambushed them. They believe these attackers might belong to the same organization behind all the previous major incidents: Kor's Belobog's disappearance, the Ballet Twins building attack, and the airship hijacking that targeted Vision Corporation's key witnesses. Public security suddenly break in to conduct a random search on their store. The siblings are saved by Zhu Yuan and Qing Yi, who'd received a warning signal from Fairy moments before her system shut down. When Bell and Wise tell Zhu Yuan about the accusations against Bringer, she responds with disbelief. Since Bringer is her mentor and boss and someone who literally saved her life, she strongly advises them to have substantial evidence before asking for her cooperation. The only reason she's willing to investigate at all is because the esteemed Hoshimi Miyabi has vouched for their claims. Fairy was fortunately able to obtain Perlman's biosignals, so the group launches a rescue mission to save him from the mercenaries. They successfully locate Perlman, but it turns out to be a trap. Bringer uses this opportunity to arrest Section 6, charging them with aiding a criminal's movement through the hollows. Yanagi cleverly claims that only Miyabi was responsible for helping Perlman, while the rest of Section 6 had been attempting to control their rogue commander. This creates a diversion, allowing the remaining Section 6 members to plan Miyabi's future rescue. To sell her apparent instability, Miyabi throws Perlman into a hollow before Bringer and public security arrest her. After retrieving Perlman from the hollows, this poor man keeps getting tossed around. Zhu Yuan reveals that Perlman had a tracking device implanted in his neck the entire time. This means Bringer, the lead investigator of the Vision case, could have arrested Perlman long before he reached the outer ring. This revelation becomes crucial evidence against Bringer. Yanagi suspects this entire situation was orchestrated to capture Miyabi, fearing that Bringer has sinister plans for her. The group contacts Miyabi's father, the head of the Hoshimi family, who reveals that their family katana contains forbidden cursed energy, a power source that all previous family heads have wielded. However, Miyabi is unique. Her power comes from within herself, not from the katana. If misused, such power could trigger another catastrophe. Miyabi and Sarah are heading to the location of Bringer's campaign speech. A large crowd has gathered to support him, unaware that the sinister organization behind Bringer and Sarah intends to use Miyabi and her sword to carry out a massacre. Sarah activates Miyabi's katana, unleashing a wave of cursed energy that overwhelms Miyabi. Within the sword's realm of consciousness, Miyabi battles to maintain control and prevent herself from harming innocent people in the real world. The souls trapped within the katana try to coerce her to kill, but she eventually strikes a deal with the blade, ending its bloodlust. Fortunately, Zhu Yuan and the protagonist managed to knock Miyabi into a hollow before her katana slashes could hurt anyone. During the chaos and confusion, Bringer managed to flee the scene. Back at Random Play in New Eridu, Kalita visits Bell and Wise to inform them that Section 6 has entrusted Belobog Industries to watch over Pomin. They've also traced Bringer to Port Elpis, a dock hidden within a hollow, making it an ideal escape route for criminals. The group corners Bringer in Port Elpis, where he transforms himself into an advanced ethereal. Victoria Housekeeping Co., who had been investigating Bringer's mysterious organization, joins the fight, as well as Belobog Industries. All factions unite against Bringer in an intense battle. Just when hope seems lost, Miyabi arrives with the Sons of Caledon, and Section 6 delivers the final blow to defeat Bringer once and for all. After this epic battle, we're treated to this really cool ending credits scene, but I heavily advise you to stay to see what happens next. If you stay after the credits, Bell and Wise return to Port Elpis to confront what remains of Bringer. They demand to know what happened to their teacher, Carol Arna. During their battle, Bringer had summoned a giant hand, the same one that had allegedly taken their teacher away on the day Old Eridu fell. When Bringer self-destructs, Bell and Wise emerge completely unscathed, revealing their glowing robotic eyes. Ooh, are they human or not? We've seen their glowing eyes before, but surviving this explosion raises even more questions. A few days later, the protagonist goes to Lumina Square to meet up with their online friend, who turns out to be Astra Yao, a famous singer and actress in New Eridu. It's her birthday, and Astra's only wish is to escape her pop star obligations for one carefree day. However, her personal guard, Evelyn Chevalier, insists she return back to her scheduled event at Lumina Square. This quest serves as a teaser for upcoming agents and factions that will be introduced in future updates. And that's all you need to know to be caught up to the entire main story of Zenless Zone Zero so far. Thank you so much again, Zenless Zone Zero, for sponsoring today's video. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. I'm your leafy lore keeper Minsleif, and I read the Zenless Zone Zero lore so that you don't have to.